And he gets real intense eye contact and says, like, what does he say here? We are going to investigate your Enchanted Forest. And the poor man was like, sounds great.
Hello, welcome to Guides the Unknown. I'm Kristen, and I am here this week not with Will, our usual beloved co-host, but I am here with Liz Sower of Ghosts in the Burbs, the author of Claire and Lilith, and fellow Ghost Adventures fan to talk about Ghost Adventure Season 20, Episode 2, The Enchanted Forest. Liz, I'm so happy to be here with you. How are you?
I'm good. I am so excited to be here and thrilled that you asked me to discuss Ghost Adventures.
Oh, of course. And I'm thrilled that honestly, we were just texting about it. You brought up that you were watching this episode. And then I said, well, we should actually talk about this one. This is a classic.
This is a classic. This is really, it just has all the elements that I absolutely love. This one was just great.
I know. It's really chef's kiss. I even went on the Ghost Adventures Reddit, which is, I would say, a 75-25 split of people just like enjoying hating on the show and people liking it. And people really like this episode. They were saying that they enjoyed the lack of demons in it, actually, of like freaking out about there being malevolent spirits around. So this was
that makes sense. Definitely. I would say usually I kind of drop off halfway through the show after they interview everyone, all that intro fun stuff. I love the build up and the setup. And then once they get with the night vision cameras, I'm usually like, But this, they kept it moving. They really kept it moving.
I couldn't agree with you more. That's always the most fun part, like them interviewing everybody and hearing about like their ghost stuff, the people who, live or work there or whatever. And then when they bring out like the iffy tech, it's always fun to hear them compare Goosebumps and everything, but it's pretty repetitive. But this one had some unique moments.
It did. It definitely did. Yeah. And some good technology. It was good.
What was that? Again, so we're talking about at the end of the show, they bring out this thing that's like, I guess it's an amplifier thing that has something to do
with... The parabolic. Yeah, for the hearing. Oh, yeah, of course. The parabolic.
And it has like different computer voices that talk and...
Oh, the box thing. Yes, I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was.
Wait, to backtrack though, remind me, what was the parabolic?
That big thing that amplified the forest sounds. Like it would look like a big dish. So then Aaron was listening to it and it was like amplifying all the sounds around him.
Yes, that's right. That was a good one. I would like that one just for a walk.
I know.
That could be kind of nice.
Oh, it'd be so creepy in the woods.
It honestly would.
Yeah.
But the thing I was talking about was that like weird kind of like mini computer that had, it almost looked like it had like art of pedals on it, like amp pedals or something. And then it would have voices talk through it. Didn't really understand it. They really reacted to it, which isn't saying much because they react to everything, but still.
They did. And like, I didn't hear what they were hearing, but
no,
close.
They had fun.
They had fun. And that's just what it's all about. I love it. They also had that one little gadget that was like, basically it just took the temperature, but it was LED lights in blue or red for hot or cold. And the way they were explaining it was like, this is groundbreaking. I just loved it.
It was like the Met meter or something. And then like it measures the temperature of the room. And I was like, okay, like a thermometer? Like
I know, he's like, only one blue LED. It's like that's like me talking about technology. Like, I don't know. It's great.
It really is. It's really a show about enthusiasm.
Yes, for sure.
Which I appreciate.
I feel like they're living their dreams and they're really enjoying themselves.
It's always fun to watch people enjoy themselves, even if you're like, what? Like, it's just kind of nice.
Yes.
So
they're all in.
They really are. Speaking of enthusiasm, Liz has a little segment for us, which I'm very excited about. This is the Bagans Minute, which I can't wait to hear. But we are going to take a little bit of a commercial break and then come back and learn about what Zak's been up to lately. So we will be right back. Hang tight. Okay, Liz, hit me with the Bagans Minute.
All right, Zak Bagans Minute. So I don't know. You listen to Holly and Bridget,
yes.
Girls Next Level.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think Zak and Holly broke up.
Really?
Because she said, my ex's dog passed away. And Zak, so that's part of the Zak Minute. Gracie passed away, his dog.
Oh,
I know. It's horrible.
That.
Yep. He had a post on Instagram. It just was so sad.
Oh, because, Gracie. Yeah.
Yeah. But she referred to it too. So I think they broke up. She said, my ex.
I have been noticing the lack of him liking photos or leaving little fire emojis.
See, you're right up in
Instagram.
You are right up in there.
Yeah. Because whenever her posts come up on my Instagram, like I'm just always checking. I like to see if he liked it. He often leaves a couple fire emojis, and it hasn't been happening lately. So I did notice. Oh, shit.
I was surprised. I don't know. It kind of, I don't know. So that, bummer.
That's disappointing.
News.
They broke up once before and got back together. So.
Did they really? I hope they got back together.
It's been a couple of years. I hold a tiny bit of hope. One never knows, does one?
I wonder why they're so private. I wonder if it's because she was so public with her past. So maybe that's why they're so private. I don't know.
I could see that.
Maybe she has like boundaries around that. But they do seem very, very private. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, you never even see like paparazzi shots of them or anything because I've looked. And I think that paparazzi would be interested.
I
don't think it's for lack of interest. I do too. No. They seem really like they
each do their own thing, and then I don't know. They seem. Anyways, I know nothing about them really. It's just parasocial for me.
Oh, same. But
that's that
doesn't stop me from caring.
And then in other news, Zak has a new show called Destinations of the Damned.
Yes,
came out last night.
That clip. Mm-hmm.
I watched it this morning. Yeah. There are 5 episodes out. I watched the first one. Quite unfortunately, timing-wise, it is about a town that was wiped out by a mudslide caused by a volcano in Colombia.
Oh, God.
And just with everything that's happening with Helene, with the hurricane, it was really disturbing and so it was really quite disturbing. But it's kind of like his setup. Did you watch any of the house calls? The Ghost Adventures house calls. So he's in his office. One of them
on Patreon. Yeah.
He's in his house and then sends the guys out, right? So this is
I was enjoying
But there's no explanation of why he's not going. He's just sending a team out.
It's like the Mafia Don.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's what this is. He's sending a team of investigators around the world to the most scary places. And it was really well done. I mean, it kind of got,
Expedition X a little bit. Like Josh Gates sending his team.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Which I freaking love that show. So that's exactly what it's like.
Okay.
And it was good. It was really well done. I'm psyched to watch the next one. This one had a beheaded priest that may have cursed the town or something. Really.
Oh, what's not to love?
And his theories, which will come up when we discuss the episode, theories abound. It's just could the most random, could this priest's blood have dripped and cursed and all of these side things, pull it together. I love it.
This guy can weave a yarn no one else.
Yeah.
He can spin straw into gold.
He really can. That's pretty much all that I have for the Zak Bagans Minute. I'm trying to think. I did have to refer back to a couple episodes, which we'll get to when we talk about this episode. But
excellent.
Discovery Plus, though, too, they just dropped new old episodes, though, that were not available before of Paranormal State, and which I love that freaking show.
Paranormal State. I would love to talk about that with you sometime.
I would do an entire show on that. I am up for doing an entire show on Paranormal State. It should be studied. We'll talk offline because
I'm not kidding.
That show is everything.
Yes.
The stuff going on in the background of that show.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing. So I would love that. So there's new episodes for season 3 came out.
Oh, that's
and they're
great
all available.
news.
Same thing for Celebrity Ghost Story. I feel like this is their Halloween drop or something because now there's new Celebrity Ghost Story. Not new. They're old, but they hadn't been available. And then that's pretty much it.
TV in September and October, mostly October, is so good.
It is so good. I just wish it was like this all year. I just rewatch and rewatch. I know. It's wonderful.
It really is.
It's just the time of year. It really makes me so happy.
I know. I'm at my best right now. It's all downhill from here.
Totally. Like my mental health is like great right now.
Skyrocketing.
Exactly. And I'm like rereading at Fear Street. Where is it? I'm rereading this.
Ooh.
I'm like every ski weekend.
Ooh, what a good one.
So yeah. So we're in our element.
Awesome.
That's great.
We really are. Mm-hmm. Well, let's jump over to Erin's element, which is the Enchanted Forest Haunted Amusement Park. It's outside of Salem, Oregon. I don't know why they don't say the actual town, but fine. And I don't know. I guess it's easy for people to understand where Salem, Oregon is, I guess. And it was built in the early 70s, and it definitely has that early 70s kids stuff vibe, HR Puffin stuff nightmare kind of thing.
Yes. Oh my God.
I love to look at it.
Oh, I love it.
Place.
This is just like my ideal aesthetic. Like the haunted house. I'd like that to be my house.
Absolutely.
Gorgeous. Like moss on the shutters and the wallpaper, but the 70s, like Mr. Rogers era.
Yes.
Dracula figures.
Yes. Skinny birch trees everywhere.
Yes. Yep.
Like that kind of old witch. Like when you think of an old witch from your childhood, if you were born in the 80s, that kind of witch is the witch that I like the best.
I know, me too. It was just really cozy.
Yeah, it really
cozy.
Was. And so this is a place that Erin went to all the time when he was a kid. Mm-hmm. He was super stoked to go there. And we open up with Zak and Erin taking a walk in a parking lot or something. Mm-hmm. And him telling Erin about this. And this was the rare episode where I was more interested, at least in this part, more interested in Erin's outfit than Zak's. He was wearing something that was tickling the mind and confounding me. He was wearing, at first blush, it looked like he was wearing a hoodie that went like down to his knees.
Really?
There's this thing called a comfy that my husband got me. That's just like a really, really, it's kind of like a 2010 Snuggie. Like it's just like a gigantic hoodie that can go down to your knees or whatever. And it kind of looks like a more form-fitting comfy. And I was like, good for him. But then I'm looking and I'm realizing there are like different textures and stuff. So I think he was almost wearing like a sweater vest or an overlit that was actually down to his knees over a hoodie. And Zak was just wearing...
I can picture that his sleeves were different than what was on his chest. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And Zak's next to him just wearing, all blacks again, but just kind of a normal puffer jacket.
Typical. Hat. He was in his typical. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting.
It doesn't happen a lot.
No, I know. The eye is always drawn to whatever like Zak has on usually. For sure. Yeah.
Right, but perhaps this is there to signal to us that this is something of an Erin showcase.
Exactly. Like he is for sure. I loved that opening too, the two of them, and like the recreation of the WallE World scene from National Lampoon's, how they're running towards the amusement park. I was like, what is this with this music? I am not. And I was like, oh my God, they're doing National Lampoon's Vacation.
I did not see. I've actually only seen that one twice. So it's
that music. It's that like running music and everything. So they took the moment to recreate that going into at least maybe I'm totally drawing. No, I'm whatever, sure you're right. But I think that's what they were doing.
It was definitely like Chariots of Fire style stock music.
Yes.
So I'm positive you're right about that.
I think my mind could not be putting two things together, but I'm pretty sure that's what they were doing. And I'm
sure you're right.
Good for them.
They're having a bit of fun.
Well, and also it's like, I don't know if we are the target audience. I mean,
Who knows?
But if there are younger people watching, they have no idea what is being referenced there. But I don't think younger people would be watching. I feel like it's probably 70s, 80s people, you know? I don't know. Well, who knows? But anyways, I thought it was great.
Yeah,
it was great.
I like any time they have an opportunity for a little bit of silliness, because they're obviously silly, but it's not always in the way that they think they are. And it's nice when we're meeting them where they're actually at. Like, they're trying to be funny, and we're seeing that they're trying to be funny, and we're working in tandem.
Yes. I know. It's great. Because there's so many moments where you're just like, when Zak says something that you're like, ooh. So it's great when it's like, this is
quite
good
a way with
fun.
Words.
This is good fun. I love it. And then too, one of those moments comes up very quickly when they meet Roger Tofty, who built the place by hand.
Yeah.
And he gets real intense eye contact and says, like, what does he say here? We are going to investigate your Enchanted Forest. And the poor man was like, sounds great.
Zak's pulling a moment for the commercial. Yeah. And that guy's just like, okay, I'm a normal person. Sounds good.
That sounds great. His way of speaking, too, always gets me. Like, he was talking to Aaron. He's like, you came here as a little child, and you have memories of that. I don't know why it always gets me. I'm always thinking, because it's like, in the moment, but then it happens when he's doing voiceovers too. Just like his cadence, his word, it's so interesting to me. I don't know.
Even at one point, like later during the investigation, like he says, he's talking to a ghost for EVP purposes. He says, where are we at right now? Like, even it's so minor. Yeah. But it's just like,
where are we at? Yeah. It's like, okay. You're talking to a ghost.
Right. And what are you saying? And where are we at right now? He will take something so simple and say it in such a funny way.
Yeah. Like with extra words, with you need more words, something. Yeah. It's one of the reasons why I don't know what it is, but I am mesmerized by this show.
Oh, totally. I really think if he spoke normally, this would be so much less interesting.
100%. 100%.
It's a huge draw.
It is. It's like his way of like seeing and doing things just drives it. I just love it.
I know. To see through the eyes of Bagans.
We get for our first, which, you know, theories are very big. As we were saying, we've got a lot of theories here. His hypothesis is always being adjusted throughout this entire thing. First one here is, could this establishment be cursed, or might it sit on a portal to another dimension? All right, so that's our first theory. We don't know. We're going to find out. Let's test this out. But he also said Roger Tofty is a driven man to build this place by hand, which I will say, like, that 20 acres, and he built that by hand? What the heck? I
know. I think it's not impossible. Something's a little lost in translation.
Yeah. Yeah.
How could it be?
I don't know.
You know, but I'm sure that he did a ton of work on it, like, not to take away from the work that he did. And I read again on the girl who took them through that haunted house,
Ashley Tofty, his granddaughter.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. She. I feel like I said that like him. Like, that's not a way to talk. Exactly. She. She jumped in the subreddit.
No.
She is actually his grandson's wife. So she's kind of like a granddaughter-in-law or whatever. Okay. And she said that, like the family were the one who built that. Like, Roger Tofty and family built everything together. But it's hard for me to imagine that they're laying brick by brick by hand everything. It just can't be.
Because it was like bag of cement by bag of cement. I was like, this sounds like hell. To me.
What the hell do I know? Maybe that.
Well, I'm sure they had help or whatever, but it's like, years. Good God, you know.
It's probably hard for me to imagine because I haven't had a hard day's work, physical labor in my life.
God,
so
no, but I think of like painting our house with my dad and like doing stuff like that, and you're like, Jesus. I just want to be done. And the thought of like getting dragged into the woods with your father, like, let's build the, witch's mouth.
You
be like,
are
God,
so
no.
right. I would put up such a stink when it's like
home.
my day to mow the lawn. Mm-hmm. So for me to do that, I know.
Yeah.
God bless the Tofties.
I know. I just always shoot off into these different side stories with these side quests. Like these people, I'd like to learn more about them.
Yeah, I know.
Zach suggested that Roger was driven, bordering on madness. So, he seemed like a nice man.
He totally did. I mean, it's quite like Endeavor, but we don't have to go there.
I know. I don't think he's a madman. Really Aaron was very sweet to him.
So funny.
I know he does. Where do they go next?
He had such reverence for him, I think.
He did.
Because it seems like that place really was like such a fixture of his childhood. So you could tell he really was like, look at this guy who made this, It's like him meeting Walt Disney.
It is. And then to think of like who he grew up to be,
Right.
Like he's into like creepy fun. It's just very cool. Which again, these people are like, they're so genuine. They really are who they are. Like Zach and Aaron and all of them, like they really are. And like, it seems that way anyways, but
I think so. And that's another one of the things that makes the show fun for like all its faults is like, they do really like this.
Yeah. It seems like it.
Yeah. I think they go to that haunted house next. And which is beautiful. Zach, I would say he besmirches a little bit, but he says it looks like a bordello. And I was like, I don't really know about that. Like it does have that like that red kind of, what is it called? Like sort of like flocked wallpaper.
Right.
But it's like
that wallpaper.
Not white. It's just like really cool and like 70s spooky looking.
100%. I mean, you can just smell it. Like I could just, what that house smells like.
Yes.
Like the mildew and like just kind of cozy in the wood.
Right. It smells like old books in there.
Yeah. And they did have some like good scares. There was like that photo we walked by. What did it say? It was like, there's Wallace sneezing. What did you say? He said like, I am with you or something. It was hello there. I'm around you. It was really creepy.
This amusement park is really awesome. Like, besides just like the obvious, like this looks cool, that looks cool. What a crazy variety of things. They have a haunted house. They have a laser tag place. Yep. They have like a weird witch. We'll get to like a weird witch mouth you walk into and it's like a strange hall of illusions. Like what an awesome place to go to as a kid.
Well, and that it's all set in the woods to like walk through the woods to just come upon all these different things. Just very, very cool. Very cool.
It's like a dream come true. And then one of the things that is another example of just like something happening and then him just deciding to give it a zhuzh is that he says he feels something grab his elbow in the haunted house, which sure, that's one thing. Like that is freaky. But he says in voiceover that clearly something doesn't want him to continue. How do you get that from that?
Yep. It's a theory. It's a...
It is a theory. It's certainly a working theory. It could be like when an old man grabs your elbow to tell you a story and you can't leave. Maybe it wants you to stay. But he's putting his own spin because it's a little scarier.
I mean, it's just like, suspending all disbelief. And like, I just want that to be real. I want something to grab your elbow. Like, I just want that to happen, and I love that he's just ready to run with it and have like, I don't know. I love it. And then he finds the cold spot on the stairs. The cold spots always get me though, that are moving and everybody's got to touch them.
You got to find it. I would totally fake it, even if I didn't feel it, if I was with them.
Oh my God, 100%.
The peer pressure would get to me. There's no question. If he was like, do you feel the cold spot? I'd be like, oh my God, my pinky is actually frozen right now, you guys.
100%. I feel like you entered their reality bubble and you best be along for the ride. Like there are no naysayers if you're going to be going in. I love it.
I would absolutely blow with the wind on this kind of thing.
Oh, for sure. It'd be so fun.
Yeah, it would be great.
It'd be so fun. But I mean, I just couldn't quite get to the bottom of it. It's like, she said, for sure there are spirits here. He was trying to like lead, like, do you think there are spirits are here? Do you think that, is it haunted? Are there ghosts? could never really get to the bottom. Is it a weird thing? She just said it was like anxiety inducing. So, I mean, weird vibe.
They didn't really form a narrative around that house. Like, I think that he usually tries to kind of get like a conclusion going, like, okay, so in here there's a spirit, or here it's a portal or whatever, to be able to like put a bow on it. And there it's just kind of like something grabbed his elbow. There's a cold spot. All right, this is just kind of a strange place. Yeah.
This is too when they started saying like children, like maybe the fears of the children are somehow manifesting as a short cold spot. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. That just started to get
that started to come up. One of them said it could be a kid about the cold spot. I was like, so.
Yeah. It makes, it's a very kid-centric place.
And the voiceover is Zak is so many mysteries to be solved in an enchanted land.
You know what? I forgot. I wrote that. This is where we really miss Will. Will is so good at like getting these quotes and doing the voice. I wrote that at the very top of my notes. I meant to intro with that quote in Bacon's voice because it's perfect. So many mysteries to solve.
It's great.
Enchanted land. It's so good.
It's like, all right. And we are on to the challenge of Mondor. The challenge of Mondor, which,
what a good name. Two great tastes that taste great together. A Lord of the Rings style laser tag place.
I love it. Have you ever done this vintage laser tag?
No, I've never.
Yeah, they're really fun.
I would love to.
There's something called Santa's Village up in New Hampshire that we go to. They bring the kids to. And then there's also, there is a Storyland that's very similar to this. It's like storybook creatures and it's kind of set. But
is what you're talking about by any chance in Rye, New York or around there?
No, but maybe there's a different one.
There might be. I think it was called Storybook Land or something similar, but we used to go there when I was a kid. It's not as big as this. It's not a whole to do, but it was like a themed amusement park. There was there was a dark water ride. There were little Ferris wheels. One time I had to stop a Ferris wheel when I was a little kid to get off because I was screaming bloody murder.
Terrifying.
And they had to end the whole thing.
Terror.
But it's the same kind of thing where it's like fairy tale themed and horrifying.
So scary.
I think it's still operational and like not a horrible drive for you or me. So I don't know why we're not going there.
Oh my gosh. I just love it. Just fun, you know? Yep. And I just think like, I don't know. It's just in the dark that thing was creepy. This one was creepy. The statues were terrifying in there.
I loved them. They'd be in like little alcoves. And then all of a sudden there's like Merlin who's backlit in an alcove while you're playing laser tag. That's awesome. I actually love laser tag. I find laser tag very fun.
I know, it's super fun. Yeah. And there were like dragons, but looked like Demigorgon or whatever in Stranger Things. It's like its mouth open. It was like these were intensely frightening things. And then when they get to the part where they're in that like chamber at the end, it's like, what is this? This is so satanic.
Throne? Yes, it really was. It was like a weird Illuminati Masonic lodge area where there's like a throne with somebody sitting on it with like an owl mask or something. Yes. And then somebody standing next to the throne. I mean,
with like goat horn mask thing. It was very like, you guys went a step too far, but I love it. You know?
No, this is great. Kids, no?
Yeah.
But I mean, as an adult, I'm like, oh, this is for kids. This is messed up. But we would have loved that when we were kids.
Yeah. It's so great. That's the thing. I know. Like,
so actually they made the right moves. Yeah.
And then the ride operator he said he felt a wave of energy go through him. So when he said he was opening the ride though, too, he's got to walk through by himself. Anyways, if you're opening it, like I would hate that. That would scare the hell out of me. But a wave of energy and then the glowing shapes that he caught on camera.
I was a little bit, I didn't totally understand this part, like what was going on with I think it was just me. I wasn't totally following exactly what it was that he saw. I saw the pictures and everything. He took pictures in quick succession that he showed Zak, and Zak was like, these are very compelling. because it was like some sort of figure of light that was changing shape through the camera. I didn't totally understand what it was that so was it just a light that he was seeing that was
I have to be honest, again, I'm not sure. Like, I feel like we weren't quite dialing down into the story here, just like with the haunted house. Like, a little bit like, so was he there and caught those lights? Or was he, I could not figure out why he was taking, I don't know. I don't know exactly what happened.
So I think that it was that. Maybe they're really going on vibes and less on story.
Yeah.
Because neither of us know what the hell happened, which is fine. I mean, that's totally fine. Most people are watching this not taking notes, not watching like a hawk. You're watching for vibes. So that's totally acceptable.
Totally acceptable. But then, too, he kind of got a little quiet. And Zak asked him, like, you know, how are you okay? And he just says, like, I'm feeling really light. Like, I think he feels dizzy. Yeah, and Zak asked if he's okay. And he was like, yeah. But he seemed to dissociate a touch. He seemed to kind of like float off for a minute. And I was like, get him out of there. I was like, let's get him out. Let's get him some air.
I know. I think he needs some water. I think he may need to leave the Challenge of Mondor for a minute and get some fresh air. Because, the camera kind of focuses on him and it's like doing that like shaky cam thing that tells you like something's up. And the guy's kind of like blinking and like looking around. And I was like, oh no. But at the same time, I thought to myself, if a camera focused on me at any given time, would it look like I'm about to pass out? Because I'm probably like, I have a tick where I'm always rubbing my lips together. So it's probably like, oh my God, she's about to go down. She's totally, something's wrong. She's holding in air.
That's the thing. It's like, God, don't ever let anyone put me on camera because I'm sure they'd be like,
my eyes are like darting all around. My lips are clamped. Yeah,
exactly.
They're like, oh God, she's about to go down.
Oh my God. But yeah, he looked scared.
But no, he did. Like, he looked like he was like going through it for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, that's another good thing for the vibes. I like. Yeah. I felt like that was helpful.
Yeah. Put like an electric sounding sting behind it.
Yeah. We almost, there's another, he has they're showing various spots in the park right after that. And Zak says, I never anticipated entering a theme park in the woods would be. See, here we go with the wording. I never anticipated entering a theme park in the woods would be climbing into a new dimension. So now we have a theory of a new dimension. So I feel like they were just kind of like, we're just going to enjoy the creepiness of this park and it's all going to come together.
And just kind of say words that are creepy.
Exactly. Dimension, portal.
Enhance the vibes, basically.
Could be a kid. Like whatever it is.
All these things are scary. So if you're watching this while you're making dinner, it's like, oh, okay. Like you could catch one of those and be like, something's wrong in this enchanted forest. I don't know what it is, but
something's wrong. I love it.
I do too. They also attempted a little history lesson with an animation and put forth yet another theory.
Yeah.
They say that there was a battle between Native Americans and settlers.
Settlers, right.
Of course. Near where the Enchanted Forest was built. And so I guess maybe their spirits are lingering or whatever.
Yeah.
Never revisited. Just a classic. This was built on some sort of spot of Native American distress.
Zak suggests, is it possible these ancient aggressions have left this land cursed? So there we have another theory. So that's the ancient aggressions. I think it was like the 1800s.
Yeah, right. It's really not that ancient.
I know. And that's the kind of stuff where you just get a little like cringy, like, no, I know. Just stick with the Enchanted Wood. Stick with the Enchanted Woods, Yeah,
absolutely. Because we're dancing around something like real life horrific now. And
real life horrors. And like, let's just not,
It's less fun. Let's just talk about a portal.
Yeah.
It's so goofy. Well, there is a mural that they come upon.
I'm sorry. Here goes the dogs. They're going to be barking.
I can't believe mine haven't, so don't even worry about it.
So the mural.
He makes a meal out of this mural and says something about that I don't totally understand that I want to get into. But first, I need to take a little break to make sure that everybody here knows everything that you can about Liz, first and foremost, and us naturally. Liz has a podcast called Ghosts in the Burbs that is so excellent. This is a fictional narrative podcast where Liz, who lives in Wellesley, Massachusetts, tells you about the hauntings and creatures that are stalking the neighborhood and interviews neighbors and just freaks you out generally, episode by episode. I can't recommend it enough. I've been listening to it since the beginning. So years and years and years. I've re-listened to episodes. It's so good. And it's on all podcast apps. And I highly recommend going and checking it out. And Liz is also, I mentioned it at the beginning, but the author of 2 books, Claire and Lilith. And you can find those on Amazon. You can find them on audiobook, wherever you find audiobooks. And Liz, anything else you'd like to say about yourself and where people can find your work?
Thank you. No, that is it. Thank you so much. And you can just go to ghostintheburbs.com and it's got all the links to all that stuff. So thank you.
Of course. It's truly, truly awesome. Liz is here because I loved her work from afar and reached out to her how many ever years ago, and we became friends, and she's just so talented. I love everything. So really, really go check her out. If you haven't already, honestly, our listeners love Ghosts in the Burbs. So
that's so kind. Thank you.
It's really true. So go check her out if you haven't already. And also, if you are not a member of our Patreon, which is patreon.com/GTTUpod, we would love it if you check that out. We have a whole second podcast that comes out every week called the Netherworld Dispatch that you get access to if you join us on the Demon tier. And we also have a bunch of other tiers you can check out, see what works for your budget and lifestyle. And we would love to have you. We also have a Discord where people are hanging out every day. Actually, I told Liz before we started recording, people were talking about Ghosts in the Burbs in there earlier this week and how they're really enjoying re-listening to it as we're in October and everybody is extra in the mood. So when you join our Discord, you get to chat with people about stuff you like all the time. We also have movie commentaries on Patreon. We have ad-free episodes on Patreon, so you get to skip all this kind of rigmarole. And it's just a really nice place that really helps support the show, makes a big difference to us, and we so appreciate everybody who joins us over there. Little Bagans moment. So we are going to take another quick little commercial break and be right back to talk about that honey of a mural. Okay. So,
the mural.
What do you think Zak was referring to when he says, "This is what I imagined"?
I don't know. And
I don't know either. Was he implying that? I can't tell if it was something as simple and actually just kind of normal as like Aaron described it to him and Zak was picturing it, or because it's Zak, was he saying like he had pictured this in his mind or something?
Maybe that was it. Now that I think about it, maybe that was it. Maybe it was kind of like, this is what I was picturing. Like, this is what I saw, because he does have those like moments of.
Right. And he has
ability.
He likes to kind of like fancy himself having an ability, and he's got, grandiosity to him. So
yes,
I just wasn't sure. The way he said it made it sound like it was kind of like a moment. But then I was questioning, maybe he just means like, oh man, this is how I pictured it, but who knows?
But totally. And then when he was talking about the things, he was like, and these munchkin people, and Aaron was like, the Mad Hatter. Like corrected him. I was like, yes.
I know.
But it did feel like this was going to play a bigger role or something, because then he points out the 2 kids and he says like, these little children, like in the painting, talking to the witch, really believe she lives here. And if you really believe so much about something and multiply that by over 1 million children, this becomes true.
Yes, I know. So is he positing some sort of like thought form, egregore tulpa theory kind of thing there?
Yeah. I think it must be, but it's like, but the kids in the painting are talking to a witch and it is real for them. Like, but I feel like it's like, I guess if the so now we're landing more on the children's imaginations are fueling this place. And I feel like you should have just started that from the beginning. Laid that in,
It's so strange because it's not like Because exactly that. You could have started that from the beginning and laid it in, because it's not like this is live and you don't have the ability to form a narrative.
Totally. And he's really good at that. I will say, like, he is really good at, like, getting the narrative, getting everybody on board. Like, we are this is what we're all believing now. And this is what we're going with. Because, like, in that Demon House, I think that was one of the best structured movies I've ever seen. I thought he did such a good job leading you through the, like, oh, none of this is real. Yeah. This is all fake. And then boom, like, no, this is really happening. Like, he does a really good job finding the story. Yeah, so this felt really like a little disjointed, you know?
I know. It's strange that he found the story and then didn't decide to structure the episode to suit that story. Even though he may have found it maybe midway through their trip, they still could have made the episode.
Clicked back a little. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, you know, I don't know. Maybe they wanted a taste of realism. Yeah. But it still doesn't make the most sense in the world, but that's okay.
No, but we love it.
Yeah, exactly. That witch mouth thing really is messed up. That is scary and awesome. You walk into that as a kid.
I mean, my God, it's horrifying. It is really wonderful and terrifying. Yeah. Like, I feel like that would no one would ever make this today. No one would ever make this for kids.
Not in a million years. So what it looks like, if you haven't seen the episode, it is like a giant witch that looks like she's carved from a tree. Like they leave it that way intentionally, where you can kind of see like the grain of a tree, with a mouth that is the size of a door, like a curved oval door, with like a big witch nose. And so it looks like she's like opening her mouth all scary, and you walk into her mouth. It's great. And it's like angry eyes.
Yeah, angry eyes. It's horrific. And when they show it at night, it's like, oh my God, I wouldn't want to walk past that thing.
Oh, I know.
It's really scary.
It really is. Now, the concept of what happens when you go into the witch mouth is kind of weird for what it looks like from the outside. It's kind of a mismatch. I don't know why you don't go in and it's something that is witch themed.
I know. I don't know. Absolutely.
I don't know.
And like the slide, I'm not entirely sure how that all works within it. I don't know. I don't
really know either. Am I right? When they go in, it's that weird, like, colorful visual illusion area,
like
right?
the fun house.
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Right.
And that is also very, again, that would not be made for children. Do you know what I mean? Like, It's very strange. Oh my God, the door.
Oh, yes.
What did he even say about that door? Just like knock on the door.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I didn't write down that quote, but there is a door visual illusion that is, it's funny. It's not even like a super, super great visual illusion. It's just kind of like, I don't know. Somebody painted something so it kind of like looks like you're looking down a hallway and that there's a door down the hallway.
Yeah. It's like the concept of that.
Yeah.
Yes,
right.
Totally. Yeah.
Right. And he says like, oh, maybe this door opens to a portal. Maybe this is the opening.
I found it. He knocks on the doorway. He knocks on it. He says, could this door right here be the actual door for where spirits cross in and out of? Lots of mysteries here. So, I feel like he's still pulling the story together. There's another theory.
He's figuring it out.
I don't know. I mean, that room is scary. There's scary paintings in there. It's really weird.
I really liked I can see it being so freaky as a little kid, and it's one of those things that's so funny as an adult. There's a picture of a guy who's playing a violin, and then he has like two sets of eyes.
Yes.
Really? And Aaron's like, oh, this guy. Because probably when he was a kid, people were like, oh. And Zak goes up to it and just kind of like poses next to it. I took a picture of it rather than taking the quote. He just kind of says, what does he say? Sorry. He says, something is not right here. It's just a picture of like a weird guy playing a violin.
I know. And you're right. It's not right. It's strange.
No, it's not right. But I also don't know what the optical illusion is. It's really just a weird picture, but that's enough,
two
honestly.
eyes, like one set of eyes on top of the other set of eyes. Like that, I've never seen that before. I've never seen that before.
Something is not right here. But also Zak is enjoying himself. He's like smiling when he's saying
they're
it.
definitely having a good time, for sure.
How could you not? I think another shot. I'm definitely going to put this up on social media for this episode.
Yeah.
There's another shot when it's during the investigation. I think that they are in the haunted house, but they see some sort of weird, I don't know what this is. I guess it's supposed to be Dracula or something. Cause I think it's wearing like a cloak or a cape.
It's got the...
Yeah,
the collar. Yeah,
yes.
And that made me think of Mr. Rogers. Yes.
Yes. It kind of looks like Queen, what is her name?
Those puppets.
Yes.
I don't know. I cannot remember their names, but yeah, that's what it made me think of.
It looked like that lady puppet from Mr. Rogers, but they're like, oh my God, that's scary. And it is.
And it is scary. I think that one they come upon with the night vision, and he's like, oh my God. It's like, yeah, it's terrifying.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, creepy. They talk to Aaron's sister, Amy Goodwin.
Yes.
Which I thought, like, I love it. They have such an adorable family, which reminded me, it's very sweet. And I feel like Zak is very sweet with them. Like, they just seem like they are just sweet with each other.
Yeah, they're friends.
They did an episode, I don't know if you saw it, but on Aaron's dad's house.
I gotta tell you, Liz, this is a little peek into the future. Will and I recorded an episode about that that's going to be coming out in November.
Amazing. That had one of the details that has stuck with me forever. It scared me so badly.
What detail?
The girl crouching above the kitchen cabinet.
Yes, that freaked both of us out too.
Oh my God. Just a friend sitting in the kitchen and seeing that. I was like, that is horrifying. And then thinking the cat was under his legs under the table and it was the little girl.
Yes. Yes.
I feel like, every once in a while this show, it's like, those are the details that I watch for, like those tiny little, like, that is
we felt
horrifying.
The same way that we were both genuinely creeped out by that. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I just feel like it's like all in the family.
Yeah.
Like the family has a whole, and she seemed like she had a legitimate experience in that cottage, whatever that was that they were walking through. I couldn't tell if that was like somebody said saying tunnels, caves.
I don't tell either. It looked like it was supposed to be maybe kind of a replica-ish of Snow White's cottage from the outside. But then, you're right. They said something about it being tunnels or caves. I don't know either. They didn't go inside of it.
I don't know, but something...
It might not be open anymore.
Maybe
that's why they didn't go in, because that doesn't sound the safest.
No. But she said something touched her shoulder twice, and she turned around and nothing was there when she was 8. Like, that's terrifying. That is terrifying.
I've lost it.
Super creepy.
Yeah. I think...
Okay, there's another theory.
What was it?
Well, and we're now landing on the children. Maybe there's something in this forest that takes the imagination of children and turns it into reality. So I feel like we're honing into that.
Yeah, you're right. We're really starting to refine this.
Yeah. So
although
I think that's what they're landing on.
We do spring back to portals. So I guess we could think it's a little bit of both.
We do.
Yeah. I think that they abandon the Native American trauma
thank
thing
God.
or whatever.
It's like, you guys...
Just leave it on the way out. But at least they don't come back to it. No,
they don't. Totally. That is just like off in the wind. What's funny too,
maybe they don't want to waste the animation or something.
Yeah, totally. The one time that you're like, well, this is a demon, like at Aaron's dad's house, no one says demon. It's like, this is the demon.
Because
sometimes they'll go to places where you're like, okay, that could be a portal. Everything's not a portal. But like the one time where it's like, I think you guys found a demon. No one will say it. Like, this is like, okay. Right?
You're so right. Keep that. Okay. So it's going to be like in the first or second week of November.
Oh, I can't wait to listen. Okay, I will.
Keep that in mind when we listen to that. You're right. Yeah. Interesting.
It's like,
what a waste.
Trip over demons everywhere. And like the one time it's like, that's not a little girl.
No. This was a demon.
Oh my God. So then they spot Jack and Jill in the woods.
Oh, yeah.
And they do like a little
animation thing. Or,
Jack and Jill run up the hill and Aaron's like, you know the rest. It's like, what?
They're having a bit of fun.
And then the witches now. And then the creepy, so we already went through this. We kind of walked through there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They find the door.
They start to go into like investigation mode.
Yeah, I think we click over to night vision.
Yeah. And so, you know, it's good stuff when you hear Zak say in voiceover, Aaron ventures inside the gingerbread house. If I knew nothing else about this episode and I just heard that audio, I'd be like, I'm already in. What the hell is this going to be?
And Aaron's going in alone? I'm in.
I know. Anytime Aaron's going in alone somewhere, perfect.
Oh my God.
I guess Jay was maybe behind the camera, but he had a presence in this episode.
But he wasn't really. No. Mm-hmm. Aaron and Jay investigate the grounds. Billy and Zak go to the challenge of Mondor.
Oh my God. Billy said something that cracked me up. It's probably just the way he said it or something. So they're investigating the challenge of Mondor. And Billy, so he's in that section that we were talking about, where it's like a weird throne section.
Yeah,
that's like what's it called? Like a Masonic lodge. And he goes, Zak, I'm frozen right now. And they zoom in on that weird owl creature on the throne. And I just about choked on my Kashi Go this morning when that happened. It was so funny.
It's terrifying. It's funny. He's frozen, and he points out he's standing in a circle.
Yes,
it's like move.
Yes,
get out of there.
There's a swirl on the ground where he is
frozen. It's like, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't like that place.
Trouble.
I would. They are brave to go in there, because just like the leaves hanging from the walls, like anything could be anywhere. And then they're bringing out the thermometer, or the temperature, whatever you would call it. Just the thing taking the temperature.
Yeah. That challenge of Mondor place is awesome, but genuinely scary. I would absolutely be creeped out in there.
I would too. I don't know. Oh, Zak asked the ghosts in Mondor, where are you from? And I immediately thought of Bill Murray being like, where are you from originally? To the librarian ghost.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is just wonderful.
He's learned from the greats.
Yes. Oh, that made me happy. Oh, where are you from? Oh God. And then, Aaron calling out to Humpty Dumpty, we'd like to play. And then Jay leaves him alone. And that's when, I don't know.
I loved that. I would like to know look, I totally understand. You're throwing out anything that you can. What did he think might happen from that, from calling out to Humpty Dumpty?
We'd like to play. I don't know. I don't know, but whatever, there was like a Blair Witch moment with the camera on the ground with the leaves where you hear the rustling and hear him yell. And that was scary. Yes. The first thing he said, he's like, I thought it was like a cougar or something. It was like, you guys be careful.
I know. Remember when they went to Holly Madison's house?
I have a note of it right here. Of course I remember.
Perfect.
But you're right.
We've been in danger like this before with wild cats.
With that huge cat that was just walking in her driveway, and they had who was it? Billy or Jay? Jay's out in woods. He rolled down the hill and almost went in like a drop off. He was being stalked
by a bobcat at Holly Madison's house while they were doing investigation. And the cameras, you could see the bobcat like looking at him and stuff. That's real. This is all scary and fun. That's scary. And then, he went ass over tea kettle down the hill. He got hurt.
And when they found him, he was it was rather dramatic. He was in a complete pile, just in disarray.
Yes, he was a pile of limbs.
I don't know. So that was the first thing I thought when he was like, I thought it was a cougar or something. It's like, you don't want to corner a cougar in the Hansel and Gretel house. That's not going to end well. That's why it's like you see this and walking around the woods, to put yourself in that situation. It's just not for me.
Oh, no.
At night. I just am not that I'm not brave like that, even though nothing's going to happen.
But it could, though.
But it could. And people in the town, you've seen in other episodes, people know they're around. And I know there's a security guard that goes with them too.
Right.
So it's is someone going to screw with you in the middle of the night when you're in the middle of nowhere? It just creepy.
I feel the same way. When I was younger, I've done things in the woods at night because I was crazy. I did all kinds of crazy crap when I was younger. Not now. Not for $1 million. You just never know.
You never know. I don't want to run into people.
No.
Or cougars.
No. I don't want to run into any kind of, I don't want to run into a fox. It would freak me the hell out. I don't like anything surprising in that way.
Absolutely
I don't
not.
like surprise animals.
No.
I love non-surprise animals, fine, but I don't want to be surprised.
They jump from like a cougar or something to, they put it together because there's a painting of the witch's oven on the wall. So then.
And Aaron says it's.
So maybe
it's like the children went in the refrigerator. He was talking about the story of Hansel and Gretel, but he's like, oh, it's like the children who go in the refrigerator. And I was like, I don't think that she had a fridge, but I get where you're going though.
But we get it. Totally. Yeah. And so then that was like, they were making him feel like he was going to be eaten by the cougar.
Right. That's the theory he was getting.
The fear and imagination of the kids manifested him feeling like he was going to be eaten. So, okay. I
get it. Mm-hmm.
I love it.
We're just picking up on it.
Connecting dots. Yep. We go back to Mondor, and Billy and Zak are following transient cold air masses of electromagnetic energy.
That's a great way to put it.
I love it. They're at that altar of darkness. And what do you think about the lights that shoot around when they find orbs and stuff?
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know.
So Will and I were just talking about this because we watched, so there's this YouTube channel called Red Letter Media that usually reviews movies and stuff.
Oh, okay.
It's not a paranormal channel at all, but one of the hosts of it, really likes ghost adventures and he likes paranormal stuff. So it comes up here and there. His name is Mike. And, just this month, it seems like he got the guys to kind of go along on like a little wild adventure with them. You would enjoy. I'll send you the links as you would.
Yeah, I want to see this.
They do an investigation of the Villisca axe murder house.
Whoa.
So first,
I would. Oh my gosh.
It's very.
Would you
fun.
ever go in there? I would never go in there.
I would go in there.
You would go in. Okay, go on.
I would. I want to poke around. But so they go in there and it's they're using all the equipment. Okay. He's the only one who's even open. The other ones are just kind of like going with him. They're not being like jerks at all or anything. Everybody's taking it seriously. And they got a couple things that were like a little bit interesting, but they caught just sort of, actually, I'm thinking of it because it's somewhat related, but it wasn't a light, but it was dust just floating by, just kind of an orb sort of thing.
Okay.
And Mike was saying that, and he wasn't making this point. I extrapolated this. I was just thinking. He was saying that usually when you're in a room and there are these little like specks that come up on the camera, it can be dust or whatever because you're in a room. There are floorboards moving. You're kicking up dust and making it move around. Yeah. And he had said a little bit earlier that the air in the house was like super still. Like this is a super old house, obviously. There's no air conditioning. There's no nothing. And so just in my mind, I was just kind of thinking, and I was like, I wonder if ever when you see these orbs and we're like, oh, it's just dust. And I'm not saying it's always this. I think it usually is just dust and dust moves. I totally know that. But I was thinking, could it ever be, yes, it is just dust, but could it ever be, yeah, it's dust, but it moved because there was some sort of force of a ghost that moved in that room and that caused dust to move. Like, I just wonder if ever.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You could say, yes, it seems like nothing, but maybe it was caused because there was something paranormal.
Like there is something creating movement, but it's not. Yeah.
Right. I just wonder if that's ever possibly a thing. And so now having that thought, which is brand new in my mind as of 2 days ago, and again, probably not usually, but just a new thought to me. I wonder if that could ever translate to something like
definitely.
That, like lights and stuff.
It seems like some of it must be something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
I don't know. Some of them do look, and when they see the ones that they do seem to be their own light source, is that because of the night? Sometimes in that night vision stuff, I'm like, well, it seems to be lighting it like its own light source. So then what's that?
I know. Like
I don't know.
Something is creating that. And what is that? I don't know. I don't know what I think about it. I'm not sure.
It's interesting. It doesn't really freak me out. You know what I mean? No. But So it's kind of like a moment of like, oh, they caught it. It's like one of their little pieces of evidence, but.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't feel like something that's like so definitive or whatever, but it also isn't something that I'm like, nah, absolutely, nah, it's nothing. It's just kind of like, that's interesting. I don't really get it.
Totally. I know.
I don't know.
I know. So anyways, they find that. They call it an unexplained myth-like anomaly that shoots into frame.
Yeah. It's cool. I like seeing it.
It's very cool. Then this is when Billy becomes frozen in fear.
Yeah.
And Zak feels it too. It's a whirl of energy.
Yeah. He's never going to not feel something that somebody else feels.
Nope.
He's never going to let that moment pass him by.
Nope. Because he's going to feel it too if he didn't feel it first. You know?
Yeah.
For
he's
sure.
probably going to feel it stronger, usually. In this case, I don't think he stole the thunder, but he definitely felt it too.
Yeah. No, for sure. For sure. We have our first dude. You don't hear dude that much anymore in these later seasons, but Billy does say, dude, I'm not joking with you. Ice cold. And he said he saw someone standing behind him in the room. Like, that's scary.
Right.
That's scary.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, I love that. Like, I would
Me too.
love to believe that. Like, I would just love to see like this, like flash of a person.
Totally. That's so much more interesting to me, that just sort of like anecdotal stuff, than what they find on machines.
Yeah, the machines, I'm like, okay. I do like EVPs, but the other machines, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I would love to hear about seeing a thing or what you felt or whatever.
Yeah. We're out in the fun house with Aaron. He's asking questions in the parabolic, and then he kind of is like, what was that? Like, he freaks out and scares the shit out of Jay. He's like, nothing. I didn't say anything. But the whisper was, look at you. And that's creepy.
Yeah.
That's creepy. I mean, what is that?
I don't know.
Right? Like, what? Okay, what is that?
And
unless,
honestly,
of course, if they're faking it, blah, blah, blah. I don't care.
But no, let's take this, like,
as it is.
Why not take it as it is?
Yes.
Even if I don't, even if I can't tell what the EVP says, if there's a noise, what the hell is that noise? We didn't hear it in the room. So what made that noise?
And I don't believe that it's like, oh, rogue radio waves or something, because it's like, no, because they make sense. I don't.
Right.
So that doesn't make sense to me.
There's a
so that was
pattern.
Scary.
Yeah.
Yes. So that was good, I thought.
Yeah.
And then they're moving on to the haunted house. Finally. Yes. I was like waiting for them to get there.
I know. It's the grand finale. It's like the big bad of the episode. This is where they see the figure on the XLS camera, right? In like that little room.
Yeah. Yes. And this is where I had the note about, because Aaron, Billy, and Zak go to the haunted house, but they leave Jay alone on the grounds. And this is when I thought, like, they left him, I think, at Holly's house.
Yes.
Was that Jay? They left him alone. And that's when he rolled down the hill and was being stalked by the bobcat. So it's like, Jesus, they should pair off, not in the dark in the woods.
I know.
No one should be going alone.
They leave him alone a lot. Like, they leave him alone at Nerve Center a lot, but they even leave him alone when they're not doing a Nerve Center. I don't know if that's his role or something, because it seems like, I don't know, like maybe he's the tech guy. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that's his like kind of designation. So he's more, I don't know.
Wolfie.
So that gave me some concern. I was like, here we go. Something's going to happen to him.
He always gets hurt. Remember when they went to Goatman Bridge? He got like injured.
That whole Goatman Bridge, was that the Route 666 when the girlfriend ends up getting possessed?
Yep.
I mean,
it's Jay's girlfriend too.
That could be a 10-part series just talking about that. And then Jay, and then I think they end up breaking up.
They do. They talked about it on Screaming Room.
Oh.
Not much, but they touched on it.
But touched on it.
Yeah.
That whole situation. Was he the one doing that weird, they were doing like a real ritual there.
Yeah. Yes.
Or am I mixing up my episodes? I don't know. It was terrifying. I'm mixing up my episodes.
I'm not sure you are. I don't really remember. I just remember that Jay was injured at Goatman Bridge, I think. I think he had like a cast or something.
Oh my God. They all run into each other on the bridge. You're right. They have a collision. They're running away. They're screaming. I think one of them. Yes, you're absolutely. I'm going to go back and watch that. That's my afternoon.
One to rewatch, actually. Yeah.
That's a really good one. Because that one is actually, that scared me a little bit.
I know. That's a freaky one. Is it overcast by you today? Liz and I
Blue
live a couple
skies.
hours away from each other. So, oh, okay.
Bummer.
I know.
I know.
You know what? I'm seeing a little blue encroaching.
No, thank you. I want the gray. We need the gray, chilly weather.
I know. Same. That's what I like the most. All right. Well, even so, still a good day to watch it.
Still a good day.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the haunted house. SLS cam is out.
Yep.
Ooh, they captured that like woo 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 noise.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was scary. I mean, it could have been an animal, but I didn't like the sound of that.
I know. It was weird. And even if it's an animal, it just adds to the freaky atmosphere of it.
Again, like what's
just
in
like
here
the
with
isolation and yeah.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of the Villisca axe murder house, the cutout in the ceiling with the hooded axe murderer.
Oh, I know.
The detail. I was like, well, I wouldn't have thought of that. That's terrifying.
Seriously.
Axe murder in the attic? Like, that's pretty scary.
I know. They really left no stone unturned. And actually, at one point when they were doing something, I think it's a little bit later when they're doing the EVPs, there's something drawn on the wall. And there's probably more detail in it when you're in the daylight. But it like looks like the Hat Man. Because it's just like a guy on the wall with a hat on. And I was like, ooh. This is
I know.
unsettling.
It made me think a little bit like I got like that like Hell House LLC vibes. Mm-hmm. You guys what? Like that kind of haunted house.
I've seen the first one. Yep.
Yeah, that kind of was like, ooh, this is scary.
Yes.
This is the jump scare with the Mr. Rogers Vampire Man. This is when he like looks up and it's just
I really enjoyed that man.
Me too. It's terrifying. It was great.
Queen Elaine. I think her name is Queen Elaine.
Queen Elaine. I think you're right. That sounds right. Zach is going to start really calling them out. Why don't you come out and show us yourself?
Yeah, here he goes.
Here he goes. But then he tones it down. Show us yourself.
I wonder if that's another reason, even though they didn't call it out, that people were kind of liking this episode in the Reddit, because he's not really doing that provoking thing quite as much.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I guess it's hard to do when you're somewhere where, especially because he's weaving the story that like maybe these are kind of spirits of children or something, or like thought forms of children. Because in other scenarios, you know, like we use this example a lot when Will and I talk about Ghost Adventures. Like he was in a prison once and he's like, I'm the warden. Get back in your cells, you stupid ghosts or whatever. You can't really like be addicted to children.
If this stuff is real, you're going to get yourself killed.
Yes.
My God. I know.
If you're assuming this is real, which you should be, why are you doing that?
Yeah, also, 100%.
Again,
and it's like so disrespectful. Because if this is all real, there are literally like imprisoned people stuck here after death. Like they couldn't even escape in death. It's so disrespectful.
Yeah, this is a human being who you're talking to. How dare you? Also,
he's evolved over the years. I feel like he's evolved. We can like allow him that. But some of those old episodes, you're like, oh my God. Okay.
Totally. No, he absolutely has like moved away from that to a large degree. Also, and this is an old episode. Speaking of the Villisca Axe Murder House, do you remember in the episode where they went there? You and I talked about this, I think. Because Will and I used to have, we ended it because it was just too much work with having Guides to the Unknown at the same time. Will and I had a spin-off podcast called Ghost Adventures. It's all on our Patreon now. And Liz was a guest a number of times. And we talked, I think, with you about the Villisca Axe Murder House episode. He laid underneath an axe that was in the house for show. And he was like, if you're here, drop this axe on my face. And it's like, that's somebody who's very confident that there's not a ghost who's going to drop an axe on his face.
Never in my life have I seen anything like that. It was like
quite something. What a show. What a gift.
And the guys around him, wouldn't you be like, you sure you want to do this? You sure you want to do this? Like, it looked very dangerous.
Because we all believe in ghosts, yes? Like,
right.
We
so like, and
this.
also you're like bonking around in the dark. Like, I don't know that this is safe. Like, there are just certain situations where you see him put himself in you're like, this is really not, not great. So he tones it down and then, then he sees the levitating chair on the SLS camera. But then it's as Aaron and I make a funny joke. Yes. We're about to be shocked beyond belief as to what is about to suddenly appear before our very eyes.
Yep, I wrote that down too.
It's the stick figure. What do you think about these? I love them.
I love to see them. I don't think there's anything really going on.
No, me neither.
Yeah, I like to see them. I think it's very fun. I also love their reaction to them.
I think it's great to be able to have like this visual thing of like, this is what we've been looking for and we found it. And it's in your episode with Aaron's dad, they have one on that counter in that and where that little girl was. So again, like it's nice to like, it's scary.
Almost, it's not this, but it's kind of the same concept of like putting a face to a name. It's not that, but it gives you kind of a visual for the ghost that you're talking about.
I just think it's a nice little escalation.
It is. Did you see the episode from, I think it was this most recent season, where one of the XLS figures mounted, quote unquote, Aaron in a brothel?
Again, the disrespect. When they get anywhere near like the Old West, anytime you see an Old West episode, you're like, here we go with the brothels.
Yeah.
And you just know, you're like, you guys.
This is not going to be good. Yeah, that's an example of 2 steps forward, 1 step back for Zak's growth.
100%. It's like, we've moved past this, you guys, but okay. But yeah, yes, mounted him on the bed. I do remember that.
That was a good one.
Oh my God. In this case...
No, when they're looking at this XLS figure, Zak says, "I'm completely chilled." It's really good.
Chilled.
Yeah.
It's like...
And his voice rises.
Yeah,
I'm completely chilled.
He also says its extremities were independently moving.
Yeah. Which is,
I don't know.
Great capture, I assume. Great. Yeah.
He asked it to lift its leg up, and it does. And it moves from behind the curtain. I mean, all that is great. You know, again, it's kind of like with the EVPs. I don't know exactly what they're saying. I don't know what it means, but I love the you got to show something, have something happen. I love it.
It's like, it's a bit of structure too.
Yeah.
You know? And also having it on a stage with like these curtains. It's like this like mini child stage. It's perfect.
It's perfect. And like, what the hell is that technology doing? I don't know how it's supposedly creating. I don't understand, but great.
So I'm going to tell this halfway. I only kind of understand. Okay. It's technology that was developed for, it's like a video game thing. It's like the Microsoft Kinect. And it's supposed, what the hell is the deal? It's basically like supposed to map onto a human form.
Kind of like if you're doing like a Wii.
Yeah.
Like how it's following you, but it's better than that, sort of. Yes, like it's mapping your whole body. Okay.
I think so. And so then their idea is that if it's mapping onto something, but there's no human there, then it's mapping onto, some sort of like energy from the other side or whatever.
I like it.
Yeah, totally. I don't remember why it actually happens like in real life. I think it just looks for like anything. Like it could be that there's, a broom or something and it sees that there's a straight up and down line. So it's mapping onto that, whatever it is. But for our purposes, like it's super fun.
A ghost.
Yeah. It's just I think it's looking for lines or something.
Okay.
But it's a ghost
like it.
for us.
I think it's great.
Yeah, totally.
They then they hear a woman's voice. I heard it. He said it's a little child voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean,
Zak says that there are cables of energy attached to him at one point during these EVP sessions, and he stands with his arms out like he's being attached to cables from the corners of the room.
There it is, But
he gets released quick. I kind of wanted more of that. That seems like a big deal to me.
I mean, if you really felt like your energy was being, that happens to them a lot. Like their energy is being depleted, or the ghosts are draining their energy instead of draining their like cameras.
Yes.
Cables of energy.
That seems scary. Like, but they just kind of move. He gets detached from those cables, and they just kind of move on. But I was like, holy shit! Like, not unlike Billy being stuck to the spot or whatever.
Frozen.
Like, your body is being taken over. This seems huge, but they're able. I don't know. I guess they're pros. They're able to kind of move on.
I know. I mean, it does seem if you're really feeling things like that.
Right. I guess it's another day at the office.
Zak feels capable of energy detached from him, and he can barely move.
Right.
Then in the EVPs, they hear, "Hello, this is my home." Somebody says, where are we at right now? And it says inside.
Yeah. Which is a good question and answer in context.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, it does seem like, okay, you're getting a back and forth, you know?
Right.
Something about a heartbeat was mentioned and come to mom. I don't know. They heard a heartbeat. I don't know.
I know. At this point, I felt like it was just kind of, almost like stream of consciousness. They're just kind of like picking up on these things and they're sort of contextless because I guess the idea is that the other side is connecting in these drips and drabs and you just kind of have to take what you get. So that sort of storyline thing is not, there's no like cohesion.
No, for sure.
So you just have to be like, whoa, creepy.
You just hear, and that's creepy. Yeah. And then this is Zak saying like the back of my neck feel it. I love when he has something and someone has to like touch him or check on him.
Yes.
And this is like one of those moments. And Billy feels his neck and says, whoa, it's ice cold.
Yep.
You know? Yeah.
Yep. Totally. Confirmed.
Confirmed. Aaron gets the chills. Mm-hmm. And then the guys process it all on the porch. And Zak is drained.
Yeah.
He said he took all the energy out of his spinal cord.
I know. He said that he felt like a spirit was holding onto the back of his neck the whole time.
Okay.
Taking all that energy to communicate. And taking it out of his spinal cord. And then when it ended, they let him go. And now he says like all the energy that they could have possibly taken out of me is gone. He has no energy left.
I mean, there's always hinted at like Aaron's house that he sold to his dad. When they go to like the Bobby Mackey place, that Nick Groff would say like, it just caused like his hell in his life about things following them home.
Right.
It's like, I want to hear that. Like, I want an episode of like, what is the fallout of this? If this is all really happening and you're getting drained by a ghost or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you not feel right for days? Like even in his Demon House movie, he's now has like prism glasses or something. Like, what is the fallout? I want to hear how this all works. Do you have a protocol of like, we need someone to clear us?
Yes.
Are you waking up in the middle of the night? Are you having bad dreams? Do you think like, because they say things follow them home.
What's your life like? Yes. I know it. Yeah, I know. I'm not totally satisfied with just hearing it followed me home. Like, so what happened then?
Because that's like, okay. That's one thing that I will say, like the Dead Files does really well with like digging in when someone will be like, I work at this haunted place, but it followed me home. It's like, well, what happened there? Like, I just.
Yeah, they follow those.
So interesting to me.
Inquiry. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
They don't just like let it hang there as just like a fact of the matter. They're like, well, tell me more about that.
Yeah. Something follows you home and that's terrifying. You know?
That's as big a part of the story as whatever they're talking about at the moment.
100%. Yeah. So.
And then this ends just kind of abruptly, which that's kind of how Ghost Adventures rolls. They'll just kind of like, just have a moment where they're like, well, yeah, my energy is totally drained. And then just kind of like cut to B-roll footage of the place. Yep. And then I see that thing in the corner of my screen saying the next episode is coming. And I'm like, that's it? There's no like post-mortem on this? But
nope, that's it.
Okay. Yeah.
And they're done.
Right.
Pack it up. Like that is it.
What an episode.
It was a good episode. It was fun. Yeah. It felt very cozy seasonal.
It really did. Yeah, the setting was to die for.
Mm-hmm. It really was. It was.
Well, this
very
episode
enjoyable.
Was to die for. Liz, thank you so much for coming on.
You are very welcome. Thank you so much for having me. I cannot tell you how much fun I have talking with you about this. So anytime.
We should definitely, I know. I really, really loved it. We'll have to continue to do stuff like this.
Absolutely.
So, you said it before, but tell people where they can find you.
Thank you. Go to ghostsintheburbs.com and all the links are there.
Perfect. And you can go to patreon.com/GTTUpod to support the show. You can find us on social media at GTTUpod. You can follow me at Chillin' Kristen online, and you can follow Will at The Myth Traveler. And by the way, Will is doing great. His son Jack was born on September 20th. He and his wife Allie and his daughter Zoe are doing so awesome. Everybody is great. And you will be hearing from Will again live. You've obviously been hearing from him as we've pre-recorded stuff, but we will be back in business very soon. So thank you all so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed. And do I do our traditional sign-off without Will? No, I don't. We will see you soon. So until then, goodbye.